Hello, and welcome to CG Rated Books. I'm Charles Gregory. We are going to do the book review for Murder at the Book Club by Betsy Reavley. Here is some information and book description for this book. All right, we're going to start with the reading of the summary on the back of the book. This is a murder mystery book. I'm going to have the information, genre, publication, dates, ISBN, all that information will be in the description as well. So, Murder at the Book Club. Imagine 9 women meeting. Tea and cake is on the coffee table. They've come together to share their love of books. They are friends. They trust each other. It's a happy gathering. What could be more harmless? Then scratch the surface and look closer. One is lonely, one is desperate, and one of them is a killer. When the body of a woman is discovered on a Cambridge common, DCI Barrett and DI Palmer are called in to investigate. The motive behind the crime isn't clear, and it all leads back to a book club. As the lies, volatile friendships, and tension among the group rise to the surface, DCI Barrett and DI Palmer must work out the motive and track down a cold-blooded killer. But just when they think they are on the right track, a twist in the case throws them off course. Yes. So let's talk a little bit about the book itself before we start getting into the details of what was written. And I'm really ready to dive into these characters for real. I'll try to keep as little spoilers free of my review as possible. And all right, so did I put that in there? I didn't put that in there. I didn't put that in there. I didn't. Anyway, the book is very well written. It's easy to read. It's very descriptive. And I like the writing style of Betsy Reavley. This is a very well written. It's very entertaining. There was 4 word oddities in here. I've only recorded actually 2 of them and did videos behind them. One of the ones that I'm missing is Hamper, and it really wasn't that much of a word oddity, except for, I mean, I know what a hamper is, but the way that it was written in the story, it didn't make any sense. And so I ended up having to look it up and found out that it was a cultural term that also means a gift basket. So basically, you know, and it's usually primarily a gift basket of food that they do there. This it's a British story. It takes place over in Britain. So that kind of threw me off a little bit. So I did do the research. So it does technically count as a word oddity because it stumped my reading progress for just a moment, long enough to be like, what? Yeah. And then I ended up looking it up and said, oh, okay, all right. The funny part about it is the main reason why I want to do word oddities is because I've done it actually. It has worked in the past. Before I actually started doing my word oddity, before I had a booktube page, that doesn't make sense. You know, as a writer, I said that I don't think they use that properly, or you know, that's a weird word to use there. And so I would look it up and find out, yeah, I was right. That was inappropriate. That was just bad writing. But there are a lot of times where, and this is the reason why I like doing word oddities, is because it allows me to learn something a lot of times. Most times I ended up learning something, and that's the best part about it, you know. So all 4 word oddities were used properly, and I did learn something each time I followed through on my word odyssey, little habit. And so the hamper was basically a gift basket of food. And it was in the case where one of the characters in the book was the son of one of the murder victims. And they were talking about, excuse me, hampering him. And I'm like, what? The way it was written, I said it didn't make any sense. But then when I read it, it says they were talking about looking after him by providing him with these food baskets. And so that, helped out. But real quick, easy read, I'm a slow reader, so it took me a little while to read it. This was in our, was it July? Or was it June? I think it was July. The book that we're reading now, The London House, was, I represented myself earlier. I listed it as book number 3 on the July RIP list, and actually it's not. This is book number 3 in the July RIP list, and the original book that I read was The London House, was actually from the June RIP list that we never got to. I started this one off at book number 2, and it was actually book number 3. So, forgive me on that. So let's talk about this book. Very colorful characters, right? And I think that Reavley's main point was literally the characters and how they interact with each other. It wasn't about the crime. It wasn't about murder, reason for the crime. It wasn't about motive. It was literally how we misrepresent ourselves amongst our friends. Now, they say that these were, the book club had fallen to about 14 members with 9 active members, but they was a large group, and they were not friends at all. Even the closest, there were 3 groups of couples, females, who were like the best friends. Like when you're going through high school, and that's Becky and Kelly. They're always together. They're the closest friends. Now they have other friends, but Becky and Kelly are always together. Well, there was 2 or 3 of those groups in the story, and turns out that even they weren't true friends. So there are, I believe there's 2 murders in the book. It turns out that they are both related. Is it a non-predictable twist? Probably not. It tried to write it in there as a twist, but you can almost foresee it, because once the investigation, I did not like the criminal procedure. Do not go into reading this one as if it's the best of the criminal procedures over in Britain, because it seems like a very hands-off. It almost feels like the case solved itself, and that the detectives really didn't do anything. I did not like that part of the book. Both of the detectives had character. They were interesting to read, but they could have skipped out on all of the police procedural stuff, because it really was just, they did a couple of interviews. They did not focus in on any of the CSI stuff. No, all the crime scene investigation. They just told you what the facts were, and so this isn't a CSI book. This isn't really caught up on procedural methods the local police department. But as the information started coming forward, you begin to see that it's all a front. Now, the main character was really sad. It starts off with the murder. You know, I tease people a lot because I watch a lot of murder mysteries and stuff, and I tell folks sometimes, you're watching. You're watching a murder mystery or a crime, what do you call it? Murder crime, when the show opens up with doom, 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 housekeeping. When the show starts with housekeeping, oh, you're about to find a dead body. So there was a little bit of some time lapse going back and forth because you start off tomorrow and then you come back to today and then go back into tomorrow. But there was, it starts off with the announcement of finding a dead body. And then you find out that it was one of the main characters already. And are you upset? Here's the thing about it. The individual that ends up being the first victim, the way that it's written, that character, you think, yeah, that person, yeah, okay, they're dead. They need to be dead. But you almost wish they weren't. You almost wish they weren't, because the young lady that starts should I give names? I don't know. I'm still working on my book review, so please, I haven't found my niche yet, but once I get it, you guys are going to be astonished. But oh my gosh, dude, why pretend? Why put on this facade? So this very prissy, one of the main protagonists, the main character, it's sad because she spends, you don't realize it, but she spends half of the book dead. And all the stuff you learn about her is after the fact. But anyway, she's a snob. She's a mean little wench. Can I say that? I don't really, do we like her? I don't know. But she is prissy. She likes to put on a show. She likes to be seen as in the now, fashionable, and popular, and bored out of her gourd, right? So let's start a book club. I like to read. And so she finds these ladies that already like to read. They're fairly local, a little bit of travel because some of them might be on the other side of town. But they end up starting this online book club, and they decide they want to meet in person. They grow these fellowships. The main protagonist has a best friend, right? But the moment you see them interacting with each other, the very first time, the book opens up with the main protagonist, right, nipping at her, undercutting her, talking bad about her, putting her in her place, embarrassing her in front of the rest of the ladies in the book club. But they're supposed to be the bestest of the friends in the group. And I'm like, that's not a friend. Why are they acting like that? They're putting on the show. And they're always trying to outdo one another. And so you find out, oh yeah, well, those two are friends. No, the two ones that are quiet and actually so the main protagonist and her girlfriend, they're tight, they're close. But there's another group, right, that they're even tighter. They spend time when they're not together, they're on the phone with each other. And when they're not on the phone with each other, they're in each other's presence. They're at each other's house. They're going shopping together. They're doing everything together. Turns out that they aren't even really friends, right? They are pretending to be friends, right? Not knowing that they're pretending, right? They're claiming. I don't know how do you say that. You would think on the outside looking in, oh yeah, they're friends. But when you get closer and you start to identify who these people are, then you realize that, oh my gosh, they're not friends. They're not friends. They're not friends. And I am going to be developing my, the more I do these, the more I'll be able to express this a little bit more fashionably. I just, what is it with my book reviews? I tell people about, I get animated and people like it, even though I may not be. I feel so bad for these characters. And yes, one of them is a killer. And you're going to find out that it's all due to the main protagonist. And the extra people get killed simply because they witnessed something that they shouldn't have seen involving the main protagonist getting their due in. And it's great. Don't read it. Don't read it for the procedural aspect. Don't read it because it's a murder mystery, because you won't get a whole lot of the murder side of it. Brutal murder, start off with, right? Selfish reasons. Read it because Reavley takes the perfect opportunity to talk about our facades. She likes to talk about and express through watching these people interact with each other just how terrible we are to each other. And the husbands, I really didn't like the husbands at all. So this is a women's group. It's a women's book club. The men don't get involved, but the men are portrayed very sheepishly. I don't like the men, the husbands. I don't like the men in the story. But it's not about them. It's not about them. You can read this, you can enjoy this, and not have to be concerned about how sheepish the men are. Or how, she's congratulated by her colleagues. And she actually shows her gratitude to the individual who's directly involved in her knowledge of police procedural policy. But it didn't seem all that in depth to me. And I'm glad that my focus wasn't on that. They found the body. Okay, yeah, you go over there. As soon as you find something out, come back and let me know. That was the detective, right? Yeah, I'm looking at this. Okay, there's a problem. Yeah, there's a problem. But we don't know, right? No? Okay. All right, well, go do what you got to do. Come back and let me know. That's pretty much all it was. We're going to interview some folks. We're going to ask some questions. But, yeah, no, this crime was not really solved through great detective work. It literally revealed itself when you begin to see who the victims are, and we got a chance to do a couple of interviews with people, and we're finding out, oh, really? That's where it really took place, when it started to because there's a lot of intermingling going on. There's a lot of infidelity. Yes. Infidelity? Does that count for married people? Adultery? There's a lot of intimacy going on. And these ladies are pretending to be friends, and some of them know the truth. Some of them know the truth. One of them is a killer, but two of them, I think it was just two of them. Two of them die. Two of them die. But, yes. Murder at the Book Club. This gets a I liked it reaction with 4 stars. 4? It was very enjoyable. I'm giving it 4 stars mainly because of the writing, right? Very clever. She ends up making me feel like I'm in Europe without making me feel foolish, without making me feel lost. I can tell there was just enough without her being, it was enough. It was great. The writing, yes, the writing gives this a 4-star review. Betsy Reavley, Murder at the Book Club. Yes. And with that, we want to thank you. There's more information in the description there. If you want to get this book, find it, read it, and let me know. When you get a chance to read this book, come on back out here and compare your review with my review, and let me know what you think about the book. I would love to hear that, because I would like to know how accurately I connect with those who follow the page. And maybe I can learn something more and see a different perspective. This is an opportunity for us to share. So come on in, drop some comments. Let me know what you think. And until next time, keep reading.